Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of the Wilds War Cry. I am your host, Stephen Wiles. Joining me today for the first time on the show, I found another Stephen.
Hey.
Yeah, we're going to call him Stephen H., Hutch, whatever he wants to answer to today. We'll figure all that out. But he has somehow convinced that conniving, carnivorous, I need more C words, because he's a giant
Cannibalistic.
I'm going to stick with cunt, but yes, cannibalistic. Cary's back.
What I do or do not do with human corpses is no concern of yours.
Oh. I don't want to know, actually. Alright, so, I brought you two here today because I thought I need some people to discuss Extreme Rules with, because it happened recently. It's usually one of the pay-per-views I enjoy in the year, but I kind of had a feeling it might not be that great, so I thought, let me get some extra perspectives on this. Did you two enjoy the show overall?
It was okay. It was not as extreme as I thought it was going to be.
Right.
There are far too many rules, not so much to the extreme. I mean, that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's step back a little bit, take a little bit of a breakdown of it. First of all, I actually, for once, got off work early and got to catch the pre-show. We had a pretty cool segment with Big Cass and Team 3D. I actually enjoyed that.
Soft.
Yeah. And then we had the Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin match. First of all, I want to know, what do you think of Baron Corbin?
I like Baron Corbin. I liked him in NXT. He is freakishly tall. Is he supposed to be a werewolf? I get that from him. He reminds me of Disciples of the Apocalypse. Back in the Attitude Era.
Oh,
except
yeah.
one guy and not a gang.
No, I get that. I get the comparison.
Or Chuck Palumbo's Biker Taker ripoff.
Right.
I like him as a bad guy. He's physically imposing. He is a physical powerhouse. And it seems like the feuds that he's going in hopefully will build to something greater.
Yeah. I honestly was not the biggest fan of him in NXT because I thought he was still a little bit green. But I will say, maybe it's because he's actually on the road wrestling on a more regular basis now. I think this is really working for him. You can tell his in-ring skills are getting better. He is kind of developing into his character a little bit more on the mic, though right now his character is punching people in the dick. But, you know, it worked for this, especially because they're going with the whole Extreme Rules angle. What did you think of his match?
I liked his match. I've heard people say, or I've read on the internet that low blow is a pretty soft way to end that match, to which I say, it's Extreme Rules, and who cares how you end the match, as long as you end it in a fantastical way. Yeah. And let's face it, a low blow is a good way to end a match.
I'm going to disagree with the low blow being a good way to win a match for one reason, and that's because it feels like a Raw or SmackDown finish. It doesn't feel like a pay-per-view finish.
Is it okay because it was on the pre-show, though?
No. It's still the pay-per-view. It is the pre-show, but it's still like... You know, they've had title matches on the pre-show. I mean, it was the United States title, granted, but still.
Now, because it is seemingly filtering in to further their feud, you know, now Ziggler's asking for him to have an actual wrestling match on. So it looks like it is actually working with the plot. Are you okay with the ending, though?
As far as the storyline, I'm okay with it. Just as a pure bell-to-bell finish, that's my issue with it. As from the in-ring perspective. Storyline-wise, it's fine. You know, they're going to continue this feud probably for the next 9,000 years, because that's what WWE does now.
Right.
Actually, I believe they're on month 2 now, so they have one more month to finish this out in Money in the Bank.
Normally I would agree with you, but they've actually been holding a lot more storylines longer than, you know, you're right. They're usually kind of like clockwork with some of these, but they've been holding a lot of them longer recently.
It's because they don't have bodies. They don't have people.
Hey, well, we're going to talk about the injuries a little bit later on because returns are a thing, but we'll get into that. So, real quick, what do you think of Gallows and Anderson?
I like them. I don't know much about the Bullet Club or what it used to be or what it could be.
I'm sorry, sir. It is the club, but we don't know this Bullet Club of which you speak.
Apparently, McMahon tried to get the rights, and supposedly there was some confusions because apparently the Bullet Club rights aren't just owned by like one person. I even looked into this, and I had trouble figuring out who actually owns the rights to the Bullet Club name and all that. But I'm okay with the club. It's not.
I don't
great.
dislike it. It's just it's funny.
Yeah.
I will say that I liked them at the beginning of the night. By the end of the night, I wanted to hit both them and the Usos with a chair.
Okay, we'll talk about that, and then I kind of get where you're going with that. But they had a match at the beginning of the night. I thought it started off the pay-per-view very well because it was a very high-impact, action-heavy match in a thing that we don't see a lot in the WWE anymore, which is a tornado tag team match. We just don't get those a lot, and it kind of fit with the Extreme Rules thing. It was an interesting stipulation, even though there weren't weapons. You know, it felt like it still kind of belonged here. Do you agree with that?
I will agree with that, and I remember back when they were just called Texas Tornado matches. Right. And honestly, I can't remember the last time I saw one either, besides, like, for a while I don't even remember why they even included them on the video games. Right. Because they're always an option, but you never see them.
Now, I do think in the video games, because you have a lot of people who do play with their friends and stuff like that, I'm glad that they included those in there, because those can make that a lot more fun.
Also, the AI partners are garbage.
That's true. That's another podcast. Overall, I think the Usos are good workers, and they were really putting a lot of work in recently. These two teams have been fighting a lot on SmackDown and Raw recently, because it's been helping to further their storylines. But overall, did you guys like this match?
Yes, I did. But I was expecting a little bit more. I was expecting it to be a little bit longer. Maybe it was high paced, but I was expecting it to be more action packed.
It did just kind of stop. It didn't really end in my mind. It just kind of stopped, and I was legitimately shocked that Gallows and Anderson won, and happy about it, because I don't dislike the Usos per se, but they seem very derivative of their gimmick, and I've said this before, is pretty much something like, hey, we're Samoan.
Yeah, unfortunately the Usos have not grown much at all. Like, they've been around for a while now, and I've enjoyed them. You know, a lot of people forget they debuted as this heel second generation or third generation tag team that, you know, was like, we demand respect. And I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be really cool. But once they turn face, you know, they've never gone back to that really. So interesting. All right. What about Rusev? From what I hear, backstage rumor is, of course, they're really wanting to push him pretty hard. I think we kind of saw a little bit of this by his defeat of Kalisto, whom I like Kalisto. What do you think about Kalisto?
I really like him. He's a high flyer. I'm able to go at high speeds. He, to me, is the perfect luchador.
Does it bother you that you have this huge guy, but yet, you know, it being Rusev, but yet someone Kalisto's size is actually able to defeat him or to hold him off or anything like that? Like, does that break your suspension of disbelief at all?
Never.
No.
It is never. That has been a tale as old as time. How many times has it been, the David versus Goliath story? It's in the entirety of Rey Mysterio's career.
Or just anything with Zach Gowen in his one leg.
He got thrown down a flight of stairs.
I love Zach Gowen.
He's great.
That was great. All right. So, what are your thoughts on Rusev's victory here?
He crushed Kalisto. I thought he had actually hurt him at some point. Because, like, they had, like, 2 refs out there checking to see if he was okay.
That's true.
And I was just like, did Rusev actually knock this man out? And then he basically did his new submission move.
It's the same one.
Well, it's the same one.
That's the Acolyte, right?
Yeah, but he now bends further backwards.
That is true.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
that's true. Yeah.
I didn't know if he was just doing that because Kalisto is small and bendy. Maybe he can't do that with everybody. But I was like, he's going to snap him in half.
My thought was he's going to Iron Sheik Kalisto. He's going to break his back, make him humble, and then do some other stuff. Look it up.
But But I really liked that match. I really like what Rusev did. It made him. He got his groove back. You had Lana next to him. Granted, she's not dressed in all white and in a nice business skirt.
She still looks weird with her hair down to me.
She looks a little bit Americanized, but
Still looking good.
she looks amazing. She commands that type of respect that she did back when she was his mouthpiece. And now that she's his mouthpiece again after what? Almost a year?
A little over, I think.
Yeah, a little over a year. It's not even like the breakup didn't even happen.
I will say that that's a very good question. Is do we see good things for Rusev in the near future?
No.
Well, about that, I don't want to cause cynicism, and this might not be true, but I am saying Rusev has won the United States Championship right on time for the return of John Cena.
Dun, 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 dun.
And, of course, the last time that Cena was on screen, he was the U.S. champion.
Just in case I don't get this edited in time, we are recording this before this week's episode of Monday Night Raw, so this may be old news, but you believe that John Cena will return to reclaim the U.S. title.
I think it is a possibility that I don't want to have, because that match was on point. Rusev got his groove back. He was gorgeous. When he threw Kalisto off the turnbuckle onto the, edge of the ring.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was
good.
Damn.
That's when he passed out, or it looked like he had passed out.
That's when we all thought that. I think Rusev just killed Kalisto, but then he dragged him into the middle of the ring. I'm like, either he's fine or Rusev's going to jail.
I think what they're going to end up doing is building the Rusev-John Cena feud again. I really hope they don't take the belt off of him. I really hope they just save a match.
At least not with just that night. At least my fear is that he's going to come back and win it in one match. That would be horrible.
That would be. I want him to break John Cena. Not again, hospitalize him, but I want him to...
Don't you mean crush John Cena?
Yeah, Rusev crush. I want him to come out strong on this and funnel this into something else and lose maybe 3 or 4 months down the line, not to John Cena.
Okay, look at that. All right, let me ask you about a group that I love, but that I'm afraid fans are becoming a little bit stale on. And funny enough, I know you listeners can't see this, but you happen to be wearing their shirt right now. So talk to me about the New Day and their match with the Vaudevillains. And the reason, I just want you to think about this for a second. Do you feel that the New Day need a little something else? They did this really cool promo with the Time Machine on Monday Night Raw. It was kind of dorky, but they made it work. And then I thought they had a decent match, but it felt kind of like they need something else in the actual storyline, right? What do you think?
I think that they don't need to be heels again. I think that they're trying to put over the Vaudevillains as actual villains to when they eventually have their final match, I'm assuming. And when they eventually drop the belts. Because let's face it, New Day is not going to keep the belts forever, even though I hope they do. But I think they need a good opponent. And I think that's what they're trying to build the Vaudevillains into, is a good opponent that they will have a good match with.
And I kind of wonder what you say there, because on this past episode of Raw, I don't think the Vaudevillains were there at all. They ended up dealing with the Social Outcasts, which was funny, but I kind of hope you're right. I hope they give the Vaudevillains another shot and they do something really good with that. What do you think they could do with all of this?
What I think they could do is one thing. What I think they will do to freshen up the New Day is what they always do to freshen up any tag team. You put a steel chair right in Roman Reigns' back, and you kick him through the barbershop window.
I hope not. Not for a while. I need a little bit longer.
I don't want it to happen, but that is the WWE's typical response to. I don't feel like this tag team's going places. Just kicked him right in the face, and right through the barbershop window. Xavier Woods will be the Janetti in that scenario, by the way.
I love Xavier Woods. You have to protect little Xavier.
He's right, though. I think in that scenario, Xavier Woods would be the one that would get kicked in the face, and he would turn face. Yeah, okay. I want them to actually turn heel again. I know you just said you didn't want that, but to me, they were so damn good as heels. So they need one more run as heels, in my opinion, before they break that team up.
They almost spoiled Star Wars.
There was one part of the match that I was just like, are you guys heels, or are you making a heel turn, or are you going to keep being faces? Was when Kofi interfered.
Oh, yeah.
Kofi did come in
right.
and kick one of the vaudevillains in the face. I'm sorry, I don't remember their names. However,
Aiden English and Simon Gotch.
However, I did love their new get-up.
Oh, the jackets.
It was amazing. We were actually, because we watched the show with another friend who's not in the room. He was talking about how he wished they embraced that era and look more. And I'm like, well, they have the jackets and, the kind of old school wrestler's outfit. And he's like, yeah, but I mean, like something that takes time to take off. And they come out dressed in that, and he's like, I'm a prophet. It's like, well, good luck. I thought they were going to win because of those outfits, by the way.
I think there was a rumor that they might give them the belts. I kind of didn't. I didn't believe that, and I'm glad I stuck with my gut on that one.
I won that bet with that match.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, they're gonna win because they look that good, and I'm just like, hey, new people who've come in do not automatically win the belts right off the bat unless they had previously been in the WWE. Alberto Del Rio is one of those people.
Right. That's never happened, Paige.
She lost it, didn't she? I think. I can't remember. It's so long ago.
She won the belt the first night.
She won. Yeah.
Also, I just want to point out that the New Day has had the tag team titles for an incredibly long time. You know who hasn't had the tag team titles? Harper and Rowan.
You're still upset about that.
You're still upset about Bray Wyatt. I understand.
Here's one of my few complaints, though. I really think the writers are actually not sure what to do with the tag team division. They finally have some decent tag teams, and they just don't seem to know what they want to do with the division.
Yes, it feels like the writers are having writer's block. I honestly think they need to get people who have dealt with these wrestlers before. They need to bring up some of the NXT tag team writers and have a good story. Because they had excellent stories in NXT for these people. And then they come up to the WWE and... I mean, I don't see that much story going on. I see like there is a classic feud, but I don't see anything past that. I don't see what really... The vaudevillains haven't been really, to me, vocal.
Well, you might have missed this bit, but there was... the big thing was, the bygone era where men were men and everyone had syphilis. And the big thing with the New Day is they're not that old school manly, and I'm very glad they didn't take it in a Triple H Booker T way, because they could have done that, and that would have been bad for everyone. Yeah, we have not forgotten.
Oh,
we have not forgotten.
Okay.
I will say I am glad that it is a face versus heel match. I like those classic matches. I'm waiting for the one day when they try a heel versus heel or a face versus face.
I was going to say, I'm not saying it would work because I'm not a prophet, but I really believe that these are two teams that you could try where you have two sort of heel teams that are just trying to out-heel each other. In that sense, the New Day aren't that fresh, or they're still pretty fresh off of being heels, so you could have the vaudevillains do something really dastardly, and then the New Day actually come in, exactly, and the New Day actually come in and try to, one-up them. You had Kofi interfere last time, but what if this time they actually jump the vaudevillains from behind? It's a very heel move, but extreme times call for extreme measures. You could actually do a good program like that with these two teams.
I personally feel like if at some point in this feud, Kofi Kingston isn't tied to train tracks, then I'll be very disappointed.
I agree.
I am wondering how long. I am wondering how long that they are going to carry around that last bit of Bootio cereal
for a long time.
Because I want it.
You want?
I want that last bit.
They should sign it and auction it off for charity.
Like I'm going to Raw in the next few months, and we're sitting next to the ramp.
On ramp.
Nice.
Like, we're sitting right there next to it. I want that Bootio cereal.
I hate you both. All right, good.
But I'm getting a unicorn horn.
Get a unicorn horn. All right. So, let's move on, because we want to get through this. My favorite match of the evening, by far, the WWE Intercontinental Championship. So, I admit, I was really disappointed. Zack Ryder won the belt.
Man.
And I thought they were actually going to finally like give him a good run with it and everything. And then The Miz wins it the next night.
I called you, or I messaged you that night. Like, your boy won. Are you happy? And then, yeah, we were all happy. And then, just Jesus.
I still don't know what will happen.
I think I have heard that they might, like, of the list of people they might be letting go. He is on that list of people.
I mean, not long ago, I guess it was around WrestleMania time, there was a thing about giving him a push, which everybody thought that's what the WrestleMania thing was about. So if he's on the list to be let go, I don't buy that because unless they just don't have anything for him. The problem with WWE is you can say, oh, someone's, got really positive response in the back and they're really good. They're really in tight with the higher ups and the bookers and everything. Problem is WWE sometimes releases people just because they don't have anything for them. They'll straight up, they'll straight up talk to somebody. We're going to talk about this a little bit later. But they'll straight up tell somebody, it's like, we just don't have anything for you. Maybe in the future. Anyway, the problem with this is that The Miz got the belt, and The Miz came in and they gave him Maurice back to a degree, and so I thought, okay, this must have been some weird holdover, and they're going to do this long feud with him and Zack Ryder. That didn't happen either.
That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought.
And they have not done anything with Zack Ryder since.
He did have a qualifying match for the Money in the Bank, which we'll get to in a minute.
And then a Canada Championship match.
Oh, yeah. All right, good point. All right, so they've done stuff with him. Like I said, it's not like he's not getting TV time. Plus, he has his tag team in NXT. But anyway, the point is, this seemed to come out of nowhere. Coming from WrestleMania, I would not have predicted that we were going to end up in a 4-way match with Cesaro, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and The Miz. And I like all the wrestlers in this match. And it, to me, was the best match of the night. Like, it was definitely the most enjoyable one.
I believe you are forgetting Maurice.
She was not in the match.
She wasn't in the match.
She was not in the match.
She was with The Miz,
yeah.
and The Miz was in the match. She was
in the
co-starring with The Miz.
Ah, yes.
That's fine.
Co-starring. Because
let's face it, The Miz is a movie star. He would say something like that.
He would probably say something like that.
Yeah, I've never seen the Hollywood heel before. The Rock.
But yes, I actually like the Maurice. I like the Maurice.
I like the Maurice.
I like Maurice.
The Maurice pretty.
From her first run in the WWE, she's not a horrible wrestler. She was a really good heel. Some people are just born heels, and I think that's her. But I kind of wonder how long they're going to keep her and Miz together. But I want you to talk to me about this actual match. Like, what did you think about the actual match?
I always enjoy when Cesaro forgoes his extensive arsenal of wrestling techniques for his many, many uppercuts. I love Cesaro. I do. I've always been a fan of Cesaro. I thought he shined really well in this match. I thought all of them did, but especially Cesaro. I'm probably biased because I want to be so deep in that Swiss chocolate. What are we talking about again? I forgot. Right. Kevin Owens, I mean, they all made a very good show of themselves. I thought either Kevin Owens or Miz was going to win going into it, I think.
Yeah.
I wanted Cesaro to win, but that is never going to fucking happen.
Actually, if I recall, you said you were thinking Kevin Owens or Cesaro. And I was thinking Miz or Sami Zayn.
Oh yeah, that's right. We went with a healer. I didn't think Sami Zayn was going to win.
You lost another one.
Are you guys keeping score on this?
Yeah,
Yes.
we do that every pay-per-view.
Right.
I usually win.
Is that true? Okay, that's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
What do you guys think about one of the reasons I like this match is you had the plot, of course, the story plot point for the IC title, but then you have this deeper thing going on between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens where they hate each other. And to me, this is working really well. Like, they're doing this correctly. They're not shoving it in everybody's faces, but it's there. Everybody knows about it. And they seem to be handling it well. What do you guys think?
Whenever those two are in the room, they go each other like cats in a bag that had been thrown into a river.
They're very much the Shawn Michaels Triple H of this generation. Or maybe The Rock, Steve Austin.
Like, they cannot be in the same room with each other without saying something horrible about the other one or getting into a fight.
It's true.
Which I like. I like that in that type of feud because of the background of it, that they're carrying over from NXT, which I hope they learn from this, because it's doing really well as far as I know.
Right.
That they can carry over more stuff.
Could you see, maybe in a couple of years, could you see someone like Zayn and Owens being the headliner for a pay-per-view?
If they do it right. They have to, I will say this about Kevin Owens, his mic skills have gotten better.
Meh.
I know Cary is not a fan of his on the mic. I am.
I really liked him when he was going up against Dean Ambrose because of his mental unstableness at that point. It made
Unstableness. Trademark.
It made him like he does crazy really well. And Sami Zayn, when he came out during, when was it? Was it the Royal Rumble? Yeah, during the Royal Rumble, and those two went at it. I was just like, this is a feud I can get behind. Because I never saw any of their NXT feuds. All I know is that Kevin Owens broke Sami Zayn in half for the NXT Championship.
That did happen.
And then what?
Like a lot.
A few months later, he lost it to Finn Balor? After he got moved up?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wasn't that long. It was pretty soon.
Okay. Because no, once you get the NXT Championship, you usually skyrocket it to the main roster after
Which
a little
is so weird.
Yeah, it's kind of neat right now because so far there's never been a repeat NXT champion.
Mm.
Usually people who have won the belt, they win, they stay in NXT long enough to kind of finish out their feud, maybe have one other small one, but usually by that point they're going back and forth. They do one final match, like Sami Zayn just did his final match not long ago, and and then they're up. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic right now. And I think we're going to see a lot of really good stuff from those two in the future. And I also think that we're seeing some really good stuff from The Miz. I actually am a big Miz fan. I used to be. And I actually liked when Miz had the belt. I thought they did some great stuff with him. And then unfortunately, he just kind of fell off. Some of that was his fault, I think. A lot of that was the writing fault. And also, I think he was one of those guys that got pushed up to top heel status too quick. But it's interesting watching what they're doing with him now. And I'm really wanting to see what's going to happen with this stuff more.
I will say one more thing about the match. It was not what I would consider like an extreme match for Extreme Rules. It was like, oh look, there are 4 guys in the ring beating the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
Which weird,
like there wasn't people using weapons or like dirty tricks. Everyone was like, nope, we're gonna kick and punch and slam each other down on the ground.
Yeah. I didn't mind that because I think doing that too much might have complicated things. But I agree with you. I did notice afterwards. And as I think Cary was about to point out, Fatal 4-Ways, Triple Threats usually
they're always no DQ.
No DQ, so they could have easily gotten away with any of that stuff. But
yeah, and I don't know why Maurice is trying to be so surreptitious. You can't get DQ'd, sweetheart. You can do whatever you want.
That was really weird.
You can walk in there and kick Sami Zayn right in the dick if you want to. I mean, The Undertaker would get mad at stealing his move, but whatever.
That was what was really weird. I did expect her to interfere more, and she didn't. And that's weird because she's a pretty seasoned, wrestler herself in a way. But anyway.
But she did interfere.
And now she's just eye candy. Thanks, Kevin Dunn.
She is not eye candy.
I mean, I find her very attractive, eye candy. But yeah, hopefully she'll wrestle again soon. So let's talk about something that did go a little bit extreme. Let's talk about the Asylum match between Dean Ambrose and Chris Jericho. And I just want to go ahead and throw this out there and get it out of the way. Yes, I had a lot of people ask me. It's essentially a cage with a bunch of items. Yes, TNA has been doing this for years, just calling it the Lethal Lockdown. Yes, I think their version was better. But I thought this was actually an enjoyable match. Let's talk about it.
In regards to the TNA thing, I'll just say, WWE still has TV time. Moving on. I thought the match...
TNA.
Yeah, give it time. I thought the match was fine. I'm just going to skip right to the highlight, which is the triumphant return of the thumbtack bag. Oh, it was so gorgeous. I legitimately did not think anyone was going to go into those thumbtacks. I really didn't.
You thought they would tease that much?
Yes, they've done it before. They've done it before. Every time they set something on fire nowadays.
I think they were... Because they faked you out 3 different times. Well, 2 sets of 3 different times. But that match altogether was my definition of extreme. And the only reason I didn't think he was going to get thrown onto the thumbtacks was because of WWE's policy of no blood.
I see why you say that. Usually thumbtacks, don't cause, a lot. Thumbtacks aren't what's going to cause your gushers and stuff like that.
I think something went right into Jericho's veins, though.
Yes, because he was bleeding from so many holes.
Yeah.
And not just the usual ones.
I do think they're trying to build Dean Ambrose, and I think they've built him up at this point, being like the next
Mick Foley.
Mick Foley. Like he's
Specifically Classic Jack.
Yeah, he's kind of going for their hardcore demographic, which
I
is fine.
I think if they introduce the hardcore belt,
never gonna happen.
Ever again. If they ever do it, it will go straight to Dean Ambrose, who will keep it forever.
I don't see that happening, but I do want to take a moment, since you brought up the thumbtacks already. I want to talk about how much of a fucking trooper Jericho is, since he, of course, he's semi-retired. He does his stints, and I enjoy when Jericho comes back. He's usually entertaining. I'm a big Jericho fan. I like his matches. However, I think he went a little bit above and beyond in this match. He took a lot of punishment.
Uh-huh.
Alright. Did you think the match was a little bit long?
Yes, there were some parts where I was just the same thing was happening. I could leave the room, come back a couple of minutes later, and I'd be like, oh look, he's still beating the crap out of him with the same thing.
He did actually literally do that.
Supposedly, what happened was that there was a segment that was planned before this match. The segment was a little under 10 minutes, and then they scrapped that segment for who knows why.
Because it probably involved a woman.
And this time ended up having to be tacked on to their match, and apparently they didn't know this until right before their match. So I can imagine,
surprise,
if you've got everything planned out, Jericho's he's always said, he's a planner. He likes to know what's going to happen when he's going out there. And
he was trained in the dungeon.
I imagine
he'll plan things in the dungeon. How dare he?
I imagine that he went out there, or was getting ready to go out there, and then you hear, oh, by the way, here's an extra 8 to 10 minutes you have to fill. And they both probably went, well, shit.
Well, shit.
A funny thing about the thumbtacks is, during that, our friend who we were watching it with was like, those aren't real thumbtacks.
Oh, yeah.
And then Dean Ambrose walked across them,
I got stuck
and then we saw them in their shoe, and we were just like, those are real thumbtacks.
Yeah.
And they're like, they might not be. And then Jericho got thrown onto them, and we're just like, oh, look. Those are real thumbtacks. And then Dean Ambrose had a few in his back as well.
Is there am I just missing this? Is there, usually, most of the matches I see, they use real thumbtacks. But is there a history of them using fake thumbtacks?
No, this was just going off the thing of the WWE's weird no blood policy.
Hey, fake everything else. I totally agree with you on that, but I've never seen a wrestling organization use fake thumbtacks.
If there'd be a first, it'd be WWE.
Okay.
Well, I'll be racist about it, why don't you?
Okay. So, I think overall it was a good match. It probably went on a little bit too long. The beginning drug a little bit, but overall, I'd watch that one again.
I'd watch that one again, too.
Yeah, and other than the IC title match, that was probably my second favorite match of the night.
I agree.
That was my favorite match of the night, the Asylum match.
Okay.
He's a big Dean Ambrose fan.
Lunatic. Let's talk about what I think we will probably all agree that was the least favorite match of the night, and that is the women's title match. Real quick, for those who don't know, this is between Natalya and the WWE Women's Champion, Charlotte, and the big stipulation for this leading into it was that Ric Flair could not help Charlotte, and he was banned from ringside.
I will say this. I'm tired of the Charlotte Ric Flair shtick.
It's over now.
Yeah, I mean, they Monday they got rid of it.
She kicked Rick out of his life, and by God, he's really good at looking like a defeated old man. It reminded me of when Triple H beat him up.
Okay, let me. I'm tired of I'm going to have this women's championship. I'm going to interfere somehow. Oh look, you're an actually good wrestler. You had me pinned a minute ago, but due to interference, I got a quick one on you.
It's the Seth Rollins problem.
Yeah. No, and I agree. I see what you're saying here, and it's the problem that's not with Ric Flair per se. It's the fact that you have a very talented wrestler that could easily be doing heel stuff on her own and winning because she's talented, but yet they keep using interference. And we're gonna talk about that, and I agree with you. Real quick, on your point, Cary, I thought that was some of Charlotte's best work so far, was that segment with her dad.
Oh, making your dad cry? Oh, it's so good.
But she really got into, like, I'm not trying to psychoanalyze here, but some of the things that she was saying, I was like, man, she's pulling from a place. Like, she's pulling from some real fucking shit right there.
You were never home, Dad. Oh, Jesus.
I always feel like she wanted to yell, you were only home 46 out of 52 weeks of the year.
That could get really dark because of her dead brother, so I'm not going to go
okay, alright. But
anyway,
let's, here's one of the biggest problems that I have. So, I think we all know Dana Brooke probably got thrown into this because Emma got hurt.
Yeah.
And that's really sad.
Yeah.
Because Emma is really talented, and I'm really jealous that Zack Ryder gets to date her now, but the point that I'm getting to is that I thought it would have made more sense had the person that came out, if they were going to do that, been Little Nate, because they had actually already brought him into the storyline. They had already done something with him. He has dressed up as Ric Flair in the past, so it would have made sense.
I will say this, I was very confused about who that woman was on Sunday.
That's because you don't watch SmackDown and Raw.
No, I do. I hadn't seen her. Like, she was something new from the past 2 weeks that I'm not caught up on.
You're right. And I'm kind of picking on you, but she was an NXT star.
Okay.
She's a former, it's like a bodybuilder, Miss Universe kind of
and
thing.
bodyguard, I think.
Yeah, and like she did a lot of stuff.
She's vamped.
Physically, she's set. She's good. And she's gotten better. Like, you can tell just in her time in NXT, her wrestling skills have improved. But, I don't know. What did you guys think overall?
I like Charlotte. Let's just say that right out of the gate. I like Charlotte. I think she's talented. However, and this is a quick gripe I'm going to have at the previous pay-per-view because I wasn't here for it to bitch about it to people, but I am now. So, suck it. I swear to God, if they bring up the Montreal Screwjob again, I'm gonna stab someone. I'm over it. Oh, Jesus. And it was just because Bret Hart was there and unimportant.
That's why. Yeah.
Charlotte is very talented. I like her. She can get over on her own, and she has for the most part. They didn't resort to bringing Ric Flair in immediately. You know, they let her be there for about 20 minutes, and then they brought in the old man.
Right.
Someone's got to keep him from drinking the town dry. It's true.
Yeah.
My issue with the finish is it's something that JR said on Twitter 1,000 years ago. This was about Seth Rollins. Who would be confused by that? You see some dick walking backwards and you're wrestling a wrestling match. Keep your focus. It makes Natalia look like an idiot. And it makes Charlotte look unnecessarily weak.
Now...
Because she did tap out in that match, if I recall correctly.
Correct. She did. Now, if she had, like, this woman popped up from underneath the ring and was like, ha ha ha, I got one over on you, and twirled her non-existent mustache, that'd be more believable than coming out backwards like, ooh, I'm Ric Flair. I was like, that is obviously a Ric Flair wig, because he doesn't have that much hair.
And if the referee thought it was Ric Flair, why didn't he immediately stop the match? It's my same problem with the Undertaker Brock Lesnar finish. It just doesn't make any sense.
Why can't the Undertaker actually resurrect people?
I'm sorry, but
Hashtag
I now really want to see Kane pop up from the ring, like actually through the ring. But he doesn't do anything. He just starts twiddling his mustache, just twirling it.
I kind of want to hear him say, gotcha, bitch!
Alright. Overall, I think we can agree that there were a lot of problems with this, and the booking was just bad. It could have been handled a lot better. However, I honestly think they made up a little bit for it with the Ric Flair segment. And
he's a sad old man.
And I know that they're kind of holding her off for Sasha Banks to come back, probably in SummerSlam. So I don't know what they're going to do with her at Money in the Bank. We'll talk about that in a second. But I'm really interested to see how they eventually use Sasha with Charlotte and all that. So hopefully they'll make up for a lot of this.
They'll make a statement. A bank statement.
And I was really hoping that it was that other girl. I don't remember. What's her gimmick again?
Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch. That's her name.
No one gets that joke.
I do.
Fair enough. That's actually why I'm sad that Emma got sidelined, is because less Becky Lynch.
Right.
So I love me some Becky Lynch.
Yeah, because they were starting to feud with her.
I think
let
they
her
could.
put me in a
Now I
armbar.
know this might be off subject real quick, but I think they can continuously go on 2 women's matches a night.
Sure.
They
They were doing it for a little bit.
They have enough bodies. They have enough.
Is it all they are to you? You're sexist.
They have enough story that they could possibly put out there if only they would think.
Thanks, Kevin Dunn.
All right, real quick, if you are fiending for some Becky Lynch, because who isn't really? She's been on Up Up Down Down, which is Xavier Woods' gaming channel lately, since she has some funny videos that she did with him. So check those out.
Why don't you just blow Xavier Woods while you're at it?
I mean, he will be at Dragon Con, so...
Wait, seriously?
He was there last year. He'll be there this year.
He always watches
Fuck
the
yeah.
amateur wrestling.
He always watches the wrestling there. Like, he was apparently backstage, and somehow we missed him. Because he came out for the actual match. Anyway, so, moving on. Main event. A match that, I'll admit, like, I let myself get a little bit hyped for.
That was a mistake.
Because I wanted it. I wanted it to be good. And I have been watching AJ Styles since his TNA days. I've always been a fan of his. I know the man can put on. If he could somehow figure out how to get rid of the Georgian accent that he has. One of the guys I watch, he loves saying that because he says world title.
World title.
Anyway, let's first
Cobb
of all,
County, man.
First of all, I want to say, what did you think of the build-up between AJ Styles, Roman Reigns, the Bullet Club, and now the Bloodline, who are the Usos with him? What did you think of all this build-up?
The build between Roman and AJ Styles was fine. As soon as they brought in the Bullet Club, I was like, fuck me, the Usos are going to be in this, aren't they? And then 20 minutes later, yep, they sure are. I don't care.
The Usos are talented.
They are talented. I don't dislike them, but I really felt like the story should have been about Roman and AJ. But no, you gotta put all this ancillary bullshit to make the match run for another 10 minutes. Yes, said it.
I seriously thought one of them was going to turn heel at that moment.
I thought Roman was going to turn heel with the way they were building it. Because Roman was hitting more people with chairs than AJ, and somehow he's still the good guy.
And the Usos were hitting people with chairs.
They sure fucking were.
Yeah.
The Bloodline is act more heelish in this build-up than the Club and AJ.
I thought they were called the Samoans.
Whatever.
No, one Raw they were called the Family.
Yeah,
and
the
then,
Samoan family.
Hey, welcome to
and
the
then
family. You know what I'm saying?
every Raw after that they've been called the Bloodline. But
Which they, I'm just throwing that out there. Paradox Interactive, they trademarked the Bloodline. I'm just saying. I think Bloodline's technically, but still, damn it.
Point is,
Hey,
I
this
kind of
is
agree with
sorry.
what you're saying. I would have totally popped had they actually, and it looked like they were going to turn Roman Reigns heel, and I would have popped on, not only just because I want him to turn heel, but it looked like this was a decent build up for it. Having these guys come out, trying to keep him from the title, because so far it's looked all versus one. It looks like everybody's been against him. They could have done something really interesting with him here. And I'll admit, I don't actually know what they're doing with AJ in the Club. I know they've split them up. Mm-hmm. It's going to come back to bite him in the ass later. That's fine. That should be good. I think once Finn Balor comes up, you're going to have a big pseudo Bullet Club kind of storyline anyway, since he was the original founding member. And I don't know. There could be a lot of stuff. But what did you think about the actual match?
The actual match was good. It was... It had its downs, it had its ups, but all in all, it averaged out to be good. It only started getting wonky when they gave us the fake outs with the Club and the Bloodline.
Jeez.
But the match itself was fine.
It was fine until the ancillary bullshit. I mean, I'm gonna give it to AJ Styles. I never saw him in TNA because I don't watch TNA. But as soon as he showed up, I was immediately told, you're gonna like this guy. And I said, I'll be the judge of that. And then I saw him in the ring, and I was like, I might be in love. I bought one of his shirts about, not very long after he debuted, the next time that they're in Atlanta. Because I am phenomenal, because by God is he. And I don't mind his accent. It just scared me the first time, to be completely honest with you. AJ Styles seems to always be able to pull something out of a match that I don't think many other people could. He almost always does something new. Or he's able to incorporate something new or something old in a new way. He's very, very talented, and I very much prefer his original finisher to the stupid forearm off the top rope.
Yeah, okay. Look, I don't know why they're messing around with his finishers, but I like that he's not using the Styles Clash like every match. Like, I think it builds it up more.
I imagine that's why, because it looks so unique, and it looks like it hurts.
As long as you don't tuck. Long story, I'm assuming, he hurt a couple of guys, but it was because you're not supposed to tuck your head with that move, which I'll admit, if you've ever talked to anyone who's done any wrestling training, they always tell you to tuck your head. That's the one move that you should never tuck your head with.
Shit. Was it during I think we missed something. Can I go back to the Intercontinental Championship match real quick? The Sami Zayn.
Sure.
Fucking, was it Sami Zayn and Cesaro? Who did that super badass flip? Or like they flipped over like twice?
That was Zayn, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Sami Zayn.
I think it was Cesaro.
Yeah, Cesaro and Sami Zayn. That shit was awesome.
That was
Sorry, just go back to. It's been like a week since
I told you that was one of the reasons why that was my favorite match.
It's so good. Anyway, it was fine. Unpopular opinion. Suck on this. I like Roman Reigns. Eat me. Roman Reigns is doing fine. He does not deserve the negative press that he gets.
They need to turn him heel already.
They need to turn him heel because the crowd is being a bunch of cunts.
Well, I do. Okay, one, the crowd are being a bunch of cunts. Two, I do actually think a heel turn would help him, but I just think that's because they tried to force him a little bit too fast, and it didn't work out as well as they wanted.
No. Bullshit. Here's why. It was working fine. Then it came out that Vince wants Roman, then everyone immediately hates Roman because no one can like what Vince McMahon wants. I'm not even saying that Vince McMahon is right all the time. I mean, the Lex Express was a thing, and I think we can all agree that was a bad idea.
That was a bad idea.
But, Roman Reigns is fine. He doesn't... He does need a heel turn now, especially now. When skip to the end, surprise,
right.
Spoiler warning.
Yeah, let's, real quick, what did you think about the return of CrossFit Jesus?
CrossFit Jesus?
That's what a lot of people... You know what CrossFit is. Yeah.
I do CrossFit, correct.
You do CrossFit? I had no clue. But, yeah, people call him CrossFit Jesus because he swears by it. Like, he's the CrossFit master.
Also, his hair's not dyed anymore. What's with that?
Dude, okay, so...
Fucking freak me out.
It is to establish that time has passed and he is some the wiser.
It's on the tips. Like, if you look, it's on like a little bit on the tips.
Completely.
And here's the thing. So, like, I watched it. I knew he was coming back because actually, I was watching it on a delay and I accidentally opened up the WWE page and it spoiled it for me.
What the fuck did you do that for?
Because I was trying to look at something else and it was an accident. Sue me. Point is,
okay.
The point is that, so I knew he was coming back, so I wasn't like 100% like shocked, but I still was so happy to see him. It took me a minute and I was like, what's wrong? Like, something's wrong with this picture. And it's like it hit me like it's on the verse. It's like, where is your blonde hair?
Actually, I was more like, where is your get up? You don't look good. And
where's your Power Rangers outfit?
Yeah, where's my Go-Go Yellow Ranger?
Oh,
the only problem I might have with Seth Rollins coming back is if he brings the Authority back.
Not so far. He tried to hook Stephanie McMahon, and she was like, I don't know you, bro.
Which I really liked that.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, and I think we're not going to see the Authority in the facet it was for a really long time if we ever see it again.
Thank you,
okay
Jesus.
with that.
All right. I want to... We've covered this a good bit. I want to, really quick, we have the Money in the Bank pay-per-view.
Yes.
Which is the next one. Again, one of the pay-per-views I actually look forward to every year. We've had some qualifying matches. So far, we have Sami Zayn, who defeated Sheamus to qualify. We have Cesaro, who defeated The Miz, which was cool because this week on SmackDown they had a rematch, but it was for the IC belt. Decent match. And then we had Chris Jericho, who defeated Apollo Crews.
Boo.
Real quick, I'm going to point this out. Everybody else has pointed this out. I like Apollo Crews. I wonder why he got beat down before the match.
Yes, by Sheamus.
Was there someone in the back who told him not to sell it? Or is he just not good at selling stuff at all? But you would think, that's a pretty rudimentary thing. You got beat down the back, and I thought that was going to be why they were going to say Chris Jericho had such an easy time defeating him. That way it leaves Apollo Crews not looking weak. I don't know what happened with that.
They brought Apollo Crews in, and if I did not watch the match or the episode of Raw when he came in, I'd have no idea who this guy is.
Okay, Apollo Crews is a very talented wrestler.
You are correct.
And for a big guy, he does a lot of stuff that, you wouldn't expect.
The first match he was in, he sold well to me.
Yeah. I honestly wonder,
that's what's
I know a lot of people say, if you listen to a lot of wrestlers, they tell you, you get this kind of like 2-minute thing from the whoever the producer or whoever the booker is in the back usually. And I wonder if someone told them, it's like, yeah, don't sell it too much. We want, Jericho to look strong. I don't know what the fuck they were doing. I have no clue.
They don't need to make Jericho look
I know.
strong.
I'm just using it as an example.
No, he's going to disappear in a couple months. He's going to come back just in time for next year's Royal Rumble, guys.
He's going to disappear, and at the same time, mysteriously, one Brock Lesnar will reappear. I think there's a connection there.
No one's ever seen Chris Jericho and Brock Lesnar in the same place. That's not true at all.
Yeah.
Their legs are the same.
Point is, I hope that this is just a fluke. I hope that this isn't a problem with Crews himself, and maybe this is just a bad writing or something. Dean Ambrose defeated Dolph Ziggler, which I was really interested in that match because I really wanted both of those guys to be in Money in the Bank.
That was a really good match.
That was a pretty damn good match. And then Kevin Owens, AJ Styles. You want to talk about good matches?
Oh, yeah, that was
Now,
great.
for those of you who don't know, these guys have wrestled before. Kevin Steen versus AJ Styles. And that was his name in ROH. But let me ask you, okay, so on SmackDown, the last qualifying match was Zack Ryder versus Alberto Del Rio. And as much as I really wanted to think that my boy, Zack Ryder, was going to claim that spot, I know Del Rio's a talent. He's good. Maybe he's got new inspiration because he's having sex with Paige now or whatever.
What?
Oh, you haven't heard about that?
What?
Oh, yeah, I heard the Mick Foley thing. I think Mick Foley posted something about that.
I don't know. I just supposedly they're dating now. Anyway, their pictures and stuff is really weird.
Yeah, because Mick Foley, after after Extreme Rules, posted something, or John Cena did. I follow both their Facebooks, and he was like, I made sure I asked both of them if this was really cool before I posted it. It was something dealing with the D. That's all I can remember from Mick Foley's.
Is the D in this context the penis?
Correct.
Got it.
Whatever. Supposedly,
tostada.
they made a big deal because Paige got a new tattoo. Supposedly it says Poppy. P-A-P-I. And so I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. I don't really care. That's fine. Let her screw and tattoo whoever she wants.
Paige can be with whoever she wants. I still find her some of the best talent in the women's division that they have.
She's probably my favorite overall diva. Point.
I'm in love with her.
We're getting off subject. The point is that Del Rio is the sixth person. There's one slot left. Real quick, I want to know, who do you want to be the last person in the match?
Don't steal my answer.
I was thinking Seth Rollins at first, but I was told that he is now in a feud for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
Yes, Seth Rollins will be going up against Roman Reigns. We'll talk about that in a second.
I don't really have one at the moment. But right off the bat, I would say I don't know, because really that's what you just listed was all the guys that regularly wrestle.
Okay.
Bray Wyatt.
You want Bray Wyatt?
I want Bray Wyatt. I want Bray Wyatt to be in it, and I want him to win. Just picture it in your mind. Sicily, 1920. Bray Wyatt has the ultimate end to this. Just post winning, because it's the classic. You think you know me, except instead of you think you know me, it's the weird imagery, and then Wyatt's in the ring, and then he hits you in the face with the briefcase, and then he wins, and then I'm finally feel validated.
Okay.
I want it.
I want to change my answer. I think they're going to bring in someone from NXT to fill in one of those spots.
There is a rumor that Finn Balor might be called up.
And if they get in Finn Balor, I think it's going to be AJ Styles, Finn Balor versus the Club.
Okay. So
I'd rather see AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins. That match would be off the hook.
That would be really good. Or AJ versus Finn, or Seth versus Finn. Those would all be.
Seth versus AJ versus Finn Balor.
It would be
And just for good measure, Shawn Michaels referees it. Do it.
All right. So you're going with Finn Balor or an NXT call.
I'm going with Finney.
All right. You're going with Bray Wyatt. That's who you
want it in my mouth.
Yeah. I'm actually going to say, a lot of people said that John Cena might get the spot. I hope that doesn't happen.
John Cena's going to take the belt from Rusev.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen. What I actually want to see is he wouldn't win it. I actually think Kevin Owens should win it. But who you bring back to make it an interesting match, to kind of give you that hope that he might win it,
Rick Rude
is dead. I was... Okay, weird. I was actually going to say Randy Orton.
Oh,
he's supposed to come back.
He's supposed to be back soon. Orton
I thought
is
he
a
was going to
really
be out for
good...
another couple months, actually.
Last I heard...
Did I imagine that?
Well, last I heard was that he was getting really close.
Oh,
coming
right on.
back.
No, I can take it.
So, let's assume he's ready now, just hypothetically. I think he would be a cool addition to the match.
Dude, Randy Orton can't job to new people.
We'll make it work. We'll make it work.
Am I wrong?
We'll put some miracle glue on him. He will job.
All right, 2 last questions. 1, would you like to see, since we were talking about having a lot of female talent, would you be interested in watching a women's Money in the Bank match?
I would be interested in watching a women's Money in the Bank match. Correct.
Absolutely. 100%.
I agree. Maybe, I don't know. There's some other stuff you could do with that if you didn't have enough female talent that was comfortable and confident enough using the ladders, but I think
Championship Scramble.
Something like that.
Boom.
Like I know some people didn't like the championship scramble idea, but something similar I think you could work
That
with.
was amazing.
One more thing. I also think they could benefit from a women's tag team eventually.
TNA tried this and it did not work well, but it was because they had a set number of female competitors. I think if you called up a couple more girls from NXT, women who were good in the ring, I think WWE might actually be able to make that work.
Let's face it, they need to call up Bayley, go with Charlotte, needs to turn face, they need to form the 4 Horsewomen.
I'm down with that. All right, last question. Is Seth Rollins going to be able to defeat Roman Reigns for the title?
Fuck no.
I do not think in Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I don't
SummerSlam
either.
maybe, but not Money in the Bank.
Right. And in a way, I almost don't want them... I want their booking to be good and there to make this feud longer. In the end, I really would like to see Seth Rollins reclaim the title because I think, accidents happen, but I think he was doing so well at the top. So
He was a strong heel.
yeah. So we're all looking forward to Money in the Bank. So if you want to ask Steven or Cary about anything they've said on this podcast or just their opinions about stuff coming up, check for their information in the description below. But I want to thank you guys for joining me.
Oh, it was fun. I like it.
Fuck off.
All right. And until next time, we're all going to go fuck off. Have a good one.
It's hot.